So you're relocating to Columbus and have no idea where to start? Let my lender partner Lauren Walton and myself guide you through the steps to make the move to Columbus, Ohio, tips and tricks that we have, and make sure that you are set up to live your new life in arguably one of the best cities in America. So if you're new here, I am C-Bus Nathan. I am a local realtor here in Columbus, Ohio. I put out new videos every week, and I'm so excited to be joined by my preferred lender, Lauren Walton with the Gerber Group. And we were just discussing a little bit about, relocation in general. And do you want to just talk a little bit about what you just mentioned, is like how fragile it can be? Because I know we work with clients constantly that are in this space.
Yes. So I've been doing relocation for a really long time, as well as Nathan, and I think it's so important to make sure that you're partnered up with people who really understand the relocation process. It can be a really emotional process, overwhelming. There's so much complexity that goes into it. So having the right team to really help lead you through that process and help you navigate the journey. You're going to be finding a new home, but beyond that, you're going to be finding a new neighborhood and new schools potentially, and where's the closest grocery store and how close am I to work, and having a lot of unfamiliar territory. Want to make sure that you have the right partners and the right team that can really help navigate you through that process to make it as seamless and stress-free as can be.
Exactly. And Lauren and I have both lived in the city for several years. We know the ins and the outs. We both worked in our fields for several years as well. So we would love to be that, valued resource, but also just that companionship along this journey, because it can be very stressful. We understand, but we kind of pride ourselves in making it as easy as possible. So, Lauren mentioned it, but the first thing that we want to do as you're relocating to Columbus is making sure that we find the right neighborhood that fits your lifestyle. So taking a second to kind of think about that, like, what do I like to do day in and day out? Am I more of a homebody, but I want to be near parks? Or are schools really important to me? Or am I going to be traveling a lot for work, so I want to be close to the airport? I need to be within, X amount of minutes to my job. All of these things are really important for you to start to kind of process through, think about, because we will hop on a, buyer consult with you to break all of these items down to make sure that, we know what you need from the get-go, so we're not wasting your time sending you areas that might not make any sense. And, there are a few other things that go into that we'll hit on here in a little bit, but first and foremost, take some time to think about what your lifestyle is and what you're looking for in this new city, and things that you love to do in your current city that you would love to bring into this new city, so we can make sure that you are set up for success.
And I think that other piece to add is you're not here. So if you can put some thought in, and give us information as to what you're looking for, we can really help for you to see that. Because when Nathan may be showing you a house or a virtual tour, you're not going to be able to see all the other things that go into that, right? Like the neighborhoods and the schools and the different parks. So sharing that information with us will really help us to figure that out. So if you aren't here and you can't be in person for the home tours, we can really help to highlight that information for you.
Yeah, so going into that, and especially talking about virtual tours, because that's one of the biggest things that we work through, especially with somebody who's relocating, is, you might still be in your current city and not able to fly out and check out Columbus. And it is one of my favorite things to do, to introduce people to Columbus and take them along the journey. And I pride myself in really making sure that the property that you might be buying virtually makes the most sense for you. And I'm working with a couple relo buyers right now that I've told them, I don't think this is your home. I think that there's something better out there. It's lacking this, this, and this that we initially talked about in the buyer consult. So making sure that you have somebody who's on your side, but also non-biased in a sense, and making sure that they, in a sense, check you to make sure that we're getting you a place and you're not compromising on your next move.
I love that.
Okay, so you are moving to Columbus, you know that it's happening, And now you're in a position of like timing it up with your job. Now this is, I feel like, where it starts to get stressful, and Lauren, you have some great ways to work around this.
Yeah, so if you are either starting like out of school with your new job, your first job, or you are switching jobs as part of your relocation to Columbus, the great thing about it is you do not have to have already started that job before you actually purchase your home in Columbus. So on a conventional loan, you could actually be starting your job 60 days after you close on the new home, which is fantastic. So if you feel like that overlap is just seeming a little stressful and you're not sure how you're going to make it all work, you have about 60 days from the time you close to be able to start your job. So all we would require for that would be an offer letter for your new position. So just seeing what your start date is, what your position is, what your salary is going to be, that's the information we would be looking for. Of course, if there's any pre-employment contingencies such as background check or drug test, those would have to be done ahead of time. But we have a ton of people who purchase in advance of actually starting their job, so it gives them a little bit of time to get settled before they actually have to start work, right? You don't want to close on your house today and start your job tomorrow.
Yes.
So it gives them that little bit of time to get settled before they actually start.
Yeah, and we provide concierge services for our clients, especially if you're moving to Columbus and you don't know any painters or movers or landscapers or anything like that. Again, like I said, Lauren and I have both been in the city for so long. We have our preferred vendors list as well. So we can help guide and set you up to make sure that you have all the resources that you need from the get-go. So again, once you move to the city, you can have all of those boxes checked that you might have. Because I'm a list person and I like to check off things on my list. So if you're one of those people, we're gonna vibe really well.
I love it.
And then if you are a medical professional that is moving to Columbus, Lauren loves medical professionals. I feel like you are so great at helping them out on the financing side of things. So talk a little bit about what they can do as well.
Yeah, so whether you're a resident that has been matched to a healthcare system in Columbus, or you are a physician, whatever that may be, and you're relocating here, Nathan and I would love to be the experts to help you in this and guide you through the process. We have some really great options for physicians, such as a zero down doctor loan with no PMI, which is fantastic. But there's also a ton of flexibility on start date with this as well. So as a physician, a resident, a fellow, your start date could actually be 4 to 6 months after you close on your new home, which is fantastic. So again, you don't need to have the stress of worrying about closing on your home and starting your job right away. You have some time to get settled. I have a lot of residents that they'll actually purchase once they get matched. They find this out in the spring. They're finishing school, and then they don't move here until about the June timeframe, and their house is already closed, and then they really can take their time getting settled. So there are a lot of really great options that we would love to guide you through when it comes to any of our healthcare professionals.
And the great thing about that as well, working with your industry, is we both do this full time. So we can be available within reason, obviously, but we know that your schedules are all over the place. So if you are somebody who needs something maybe early morning, or maybe needs something a little bit later in the evening, we can tailor our time to work with you around your schedule. Again, I always say within reason. We are also functioning at times adults. But we do very much care about you as a client and making sure that it works for your schedule. So I know that that can be something very stressful as well.
Yeah, and I oftentimes will get questions, and I know Nathan as well, from our medical professionals that are being relocated here on where do they want to be that's in close proximity to the hospital or healthcare system that they're going to be working at. So areas that Nathan and I are very familiar with as well, which would be really important regarding your commute, especially if you happen to be on call and things like that.
Correct. So if you are in another city, you already own a home, and you need to move here and sell that property, there are ways that Lauren can help you out. I can help you out. So Lauren, I'll let you jump in.
Yeah, so this is a question I get from a lot of my relo clients is what happens with my departing residents and how can this all align? So there are a lot of really great options. So if you are interested in purchasing in Columbus and you're relocating here and you have a departing residence, the first thing that we're gonna look at as part of the pre-approval application process is if you can qualify carrying both properties. This is important so that you don't have to worry about the timing perfectly aligning. If you can hold both properties, then what we would look at is potentially making a non-contingent offer. We can help you bridge that gap with your equity if you need that money to put down. So you of course can use what you already have, checking, savings, investment accounts if you have that. If not, perhaps you have a home equity line of credit on your current home that you can tap into to put down on the new home. I've seen clients take 401k loans. These are temporary with no penalty if you pay them back in the allotted time. Usually it's between like 60 days and it could be up to 6 months. But we'll talk through those options for you. And then a bridge loan is a very common one and a very popular one also, where we would do a bridge loan for you to bridge that equity from your departing residence to your new home. And then once that house sells, you would pay the bridge loan off. So another really great option. There's tons of options to look at so that you don't need to have the stress of aligning both sales at the exact same time. So we'll go through all those details in the pre-approval process.
Yeah, and exactly. It can be very stressful, very overwhelming to hear about all of these different programs and to understand what makes the most sense to you. So again, setting up that initial consult call with Lauren and myself is so crucial to make sure that we find and research what is best for you. You don't have to do all the research. We can present the options to you and let you know what makes the most sense throughout that process. And maybe you've watched some of my videos as well on how I list properties here in Columbus, Ohio, and you're like, wow, I wish there was a realtor in my city that worked the same way as Nathan did. Well, I can help you find a realtor in your city. I have partners across the US, across the world really, that work similar to me and will get your property sold for top dollar. So you've gone through the process, you figured out, your financing, what you want to do on that end. Now we're going to go look at properties and how does that work? I know I mentioned briefly before doing virtual tours, which again, happy to do those with you. But if you do want to set up a weekend where we kind of explore various areas of the city, again, I'm doing that with some clients that are about to relocate here from the West Coast here in a couple weeks. So I would just block some time, drive you around to areas in Columbus, see what makes the most sense for you. I love that aspect as well because then I can introduce you to some of my favorite spots. They might become some of your favorite spots. And then also, if you are looking for the new build route, I can be somebody who can sit in on meetings for you, relay information. If you are out of state and you need somebody to be there for maybe the drywall inspection or the framing or electrical inspection or final walkthrough, whatever, I will be that resource for you where I can either do a virtual call with you during that, or I can be there on behalf, relay all the information to you afterwards. Either one of those, there's just so many different options, and again, making sure that we can align with what makes the most sense for you, your schedule, your timeline. And something great about Lauren, which there's not a lot of other lenders out there that have partnerships like she does, but she's so established within the city. She does have some really amazing partnerships with home builders within Central Ohio. Do you want to touch on some of those real quick?
Yeah, if new build is, what route you want to go, we can help you figure out like what the top incentives would be from some of the different builders in town. So these could pertain to interest rate discounts that are well below market. This can pertain to discounts off of fees and closing costs. We even know of some great builders that are centrally located in the city that have tax abatements, which is great. So there are a lot of really great incentives that Nathan and I can really help you navigate to which builder is offering which at which time. Obviously the incentives change from time to time, so we can really help you navigate that. Both of us have a lot of experience with new builds, working with the reps and the different builder companies, so we'd love to help you in that process. And I know Nathan alluded to, whether you're coming here for an in-person tour or we're doing virtual, we want to just make sure that you have our support, whether that be nights, weekends, working around your schedule. It's really important to be able to have a team that can support you during those nights and weekends, that you can get a hold of to run numbers, to update pre-approval letters, to check appraisal waivers. There's a lot of things that go into the offer writing process, and we want to make sure that you're equipped with those resources when you need them, which oftentimes will be nights and weekends.
Correct. Yep. So thank you for taking some time to listen to what we have to say about relocating. Obviously, there is a lot that goes into the process, but I think if you get anything from this video, it's that we can be your trusted advisors from the realtor side and from the lending side to make this transition as seamless as possible. We know that it's stressful. We know that there's a lot of emotions and feelings involved throughout the whole process. And we would love to be that dedicated resource for you to lean on and help you through each and every step. So if you are interested in relocating, make sure that you reach out, click the link in my bio. We can set up a one-on-one call. We'll get you introduced to Lauren, who can start to chat and talk numbers as well and best programs. And if this is something that interests you, you are trying to learn more about Columbus, I put out videos every Friday on things to do around Columbus, various neighborhoods, nonprofits I love to feature, market stats, anything and everything. So follow along, like, subscribe, see Bus Nathan, and until next Friday, I hope you have a great week, and thanks for joining us, Lauren.
Thanks for having me.